So let's do a little time travel. Picture this, it's early 2026. The new Samsung Galaxy S26 has just dropped, and for the first time, we can look back and see this incredible 3-year story unfold. It's a story of how our phones went from being just, phones to something totally different. Let's dig into that evolution. And really, this is the whole theme right here. This is the big idea that Samsung's been chasing for the last 3 years. We've seen this fundamental change in what we even want from our phones. It's not just about us telling it what to do anymore. It's about having a proactive assistant that actually works for you. And this timeline, it just lays it all out perfectly. Back in 2024, the S24 Ultra was all about cloud-based AI. You'd ask it something and it would have to send that data off to a server somewhere to get processed. But then 2025 came along, and the S25 brought a huge change. It brought all that AI power right onto the phone itself. We're talking multimodal AI that could understand text, images, and your voice, all right there on the device. And that set the stage for 2026, a whole new ballgame, autonomous or agentic AI. Okay, here are all the nerdy specs across the 3 big Ultra models. Now, don't worry, there's not going to be a quiz on this. We're going to break down what all these numbers actually mean for you day to day. This is just to give you a quick snapshot of how the hardware has been evolving. All right, let's kick things off with that first big jump. The move from the S24 Ultra to the S25 Ultra, well, it wasn't about reinventing the phone. It was all about taking a great idea and making it, perfect. This was the year of refinement. So the first thing you'd notice was the feel of the thing. The S24 Ultra was, let's just say it was known for its sharp corners. With the S25, Samsung finally rounded them off, and oh my gosh, what a difference. The phone just melted into your hand. It was a simple tweak, but it was a total game changer for just how comfortable it was to use. And on the inside, the S25 got a really critical performance boost. Anyone who used an S24, especially for gaming, knows that thing could get pretty toasty. The S25's new Snapdragon 8 Elite chip had way better thermals, which means you could push it as hard as you wanted and it would barely break a sweat. A huge win for all the power users out there. And the camera. Photographers had a lot to be happy about with the S25. That ultra-wide lens, which was kind of stuck at 12 megapixels for what felt like forever, got a massive upgrade to 50 megapixels. This wasn't just about sharper landscape photos, it meant you could crop in without losing all your detail, and it was so much better in low light. This was an upgrade we were all waiting for. So that brings us to the S26. Now, if the S25 was about refining everything to be nearly perfect, the S26 is all about one thing: raw power. This is the year Samsung said, okay, let's cram in all the hardware we need to unlock the next level of AI. And we have to start with this. The one thing people have been begging Samsung for years. The Ultra finally smashed through that 45-watt charging ceiling. We're talking 60 watts of power. But what does 60 watts actually mean? It means you can go from almost 0 to a 75% charge in about half an hour. Just think about that. A quick plug-in while you're getting ready to head out, and boom, you're good for the whole night. That is a lifesaver. You know that feeling when you're on the bus or a train and you can just feel someone reading over your shoulder? Well, the S26 has this brilliant fix. It's called a zero peaking display, and it uses this cool micro-louver tech, basically a built-in privacy screen that makes it almost impossible for the person next to you to see what's on your screen. So simple, so smart. Okay, so to really get the next upgrade, we have to talk about what agentic AI is. This isn't just an AI you ask a question. This is an AI you give a goal, and it works autonomously in the background to get it done. We're talking about telling it, hey, book me a weekend trip to San Diego, and it finds the flights, the hotel, the rental car, all on its own. It's a true assistant. Now, that kind of super complex background work takes an absolutely massive amount of memory, and that is why, for the first time ever, the S26 Ultra comes with a 16GB RAM option. This isn't just Samsung throwing a bigger number on the box, it's the engine required to power these new AI agents. But hey, not everyone needs the biggest, baddest Ultra, right? So how did all this cool tech trickle down to the regular S24, S25, and S26 phones that most people actually buy? Let's take a look. So one of the best upgrades for the base S26 was the battery. After being stuck at 4,000 milliamp hours for 2 years, it finally got a nice bump up to 4,300. And the craziest part? Samsung's engineers somehow managed to fit that bigger battery in while making the phone a little bit thinner. That's some serious magic right there. The screen got a little love, too. The display on the base model went from 6.2 to 6.3 inches. But here's the cool part. The phone itself didn't get bigger. They just shaved down those black borders, the bezels, to be so thin you can barely see them. And finally, a move we were all waiting for. The S26 officially killed the 128GB base model. Let's be honest, with how big apps and photos are these days, 128 just wasn't cutting it. Now the whole S26 lineup starts at a much more reasonable 256 gigs. Finally, some breathing room. Okay, we've walked through the whole 3-year evolution. So now we get to the big question. What does all this mean for you? Which phone, if any, should be your next move? Let's make this super simple. If you're on an S24 and you're mostly just on social media, taking some pictures, you're fine. It's still a great phone. Now, if you're a heavy user and those sharp corners and the heat of the S24 bothered you, then yeah, the S25 is a fantastic quality of life upgrade. But if you're coming from an older phone, like an S22 or S23, or if you just have to have those killer new features like the privacy screen and that crazy fast 60-watt charging, then the S26 is an absolute no-brainer. That's the one to get. And really, that's the whole story of the S26. It's more than just the next phone in the lineup. With that massive 16 gigs of RAM, it's the first phone that feels like it was truly built for the future of AI. It's got the power to handle not just the AI we have today, but whatever wild stuff developers come up with over the next 5 years. It's really the first future-proof AI phone. And that just leaves us with this one kind of mind-bending question. We know the S26 has the horsepower for the next 5 years of AI. But what are we even going to be doing with it? What kind of crazy, incredible, autonomous stuff will we have our little phone agents doing for us by the time 2031 rolls around? I mean, the sky's the limit, right? Thanks for watching.